Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and today we're going to be cutting up a top sirloin for bacon wrapped fillets, so stick around. So we'll start off by putting on our metal cutting glove. I prefer the metal cutting glove over the cloth one, just because it prevents protein buildup in the fabric of the cloth one. Metal gloves, you just rinse them off or let them soak and wash them, and you're good to go. I do have a cloth one here. It's a good option for some people, but I'd recommend putting a like a latex glove over top of this to keep this from getting any kind of protein buildup in the fingertips. So, start off by cutting our package open here. I think these whole pieces are actually really worth getting whole like this, because I paid $4.95 a pound for this. Normally you'd be paying right around $6 to $10 a pound in the store for having these trimmed up steaks. So first thing what we're going to do is take off this bone skin on the back of this. Change up my knife here. Peel off all that bone skin. This is really tough and you definitely don't want to eat it. Okay. On this end here, there's going to be a little fat wedge they're going to peel off. I like to kind of get underneath till you start seeing the meat and just kind of peel and push forward. Okay, a little more silver skin take off here. Okay, a little bit here we'll take off. Actually, I kind of want to take off this little piece here. A little bit of fat there. Okay, I think that's pretty good for what we're after right now. So when you peel the culotte, this top piece here, this is called your cap or culotte, and this right here is your top sirloin. So what a lot of grocery stores will do, a lot of them I've worked in, they actually prefer you to leave the cap and the top sirloin intact, and they'll actually cut steaks with this left on there, and I don't like that because the grain of the cap goes in this direction, and the top sirloin itself goes in, the grain goes in this direction. So when you get your steak, it's going to be kind of tough, and you're not utilizing this cap at its full potential. So I've always preferred to separate them, and that's why I've always preferred to buy my own and cut my own steaks off of these. So just kind of peel, cut, peel, or push, cut, push. Okay, and just cut that off of there. And then you have your culotte. And then you're left with your top sirloin. So then you want to clean this up. I normally like to leave about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch of fat on your top sirloin. But this, it's meant to be lean for what we're doing. So just continue cutting the fat off of here. You don't have to go crazy. This right here actually doesn't look that bad. I'm just more so concerned with the silver skin, which is this right here. That makes a really stringy steak if you leave that on there. Okay. Get a little bit of fat off of this corner here. And I think I'm satisfied with that. Okay. So when you're cutting these for bacon wraps, I cut these into thirds. Actually, I'm going to take this off. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we cut these into thirds. And knowing how to do this is going to save you a lot of money. I've seen stores sell these for about $12 a pound. Just ridiculous. So once you cut these guys into thirds, you can either tie them, or if you don't know how to tie, you don't have to. But for this demonstration, I'll show you how to tie these. If you get some twine, you can pick this up at pretty much any grocery store. Okay, it looks a lot better. Alright, so see if I remember how to do this. I haven't cut meat in like 2 or 3 years now. Okay. So what you're going to want to do, this is very, very complicating to teach online like this. But you want to have your string underneath your piece of meat. And you're going to want to have your 2 fingers underneath the string. You want to cross over, you want to put the string on top of your finger, your index and middle. And you want to tilt the string down while turning your 2 fingers 360 degrees. Grab that same string with your fingers, pull it through, and then snap it into place. Okay. Now I'm going to do this the entire way down. Oh boy, thing needs a little bit of steeling, doesn't it? So I actually prefer Victorinox knives. I've been using these since I started my meat cutting career back in 2006, and I've been using these for about 15 years. So they've been really great knives. When you're in the meat industry and you're cutting for a living, you actually go through those. I don't know. You should probably change those out. I mean, I've seen people where they sharpen the knives clear down to about right here, and that is way overkill. I mean, that's like beyond. Once it starts getting like a little lip right there, then you know it's time to kind of think about changing out your knives. I mean, you can use these for a while, and if you're not doing this for work, you can probably get away with buying a set of these knives and have it last you pretty much your life, or pretty close to it. I mean, if you're working on like a farm or a homestead and you're using these quite often on your animals, I mean, you might buy another set, but generally, these, if you take care of these, they'll last you your life. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Always steel your knives. I just had carpal tunnel surgery about 1.5 years ago, and that may have been avoided if I steeled my knives a little bit more. and learn proper technique. You can see my palms here. Just had a carpal tunnel, yeah, about a year and a half now. If you're ever thinking about doing that, I'd highly recommend it. It worked for me and I haven't had any issues since. Okay, got that all tied up. You can either tie these or you don't have to, it's up to you. I actually kind of prefer if I don't tie these. Okay, now I'll just cut them in these little, in my old job we used to cut these in about, I think it was 2 to 3 ounce little pieces. But I'll just cut these in between the twine. Okay. Beautiful looking steaks. What do you guys think? Decently, they're pretty lean. They do have a little bit of marbling in them. I love the way that looks though. Okay, now we'll just cut these other steaks up. Square off each end. Actually, your middle top sirloin, there's a big old hunk of gristle that's always right in the middle. So I would actually cut off about the thickness of one of these. Probably about right here, and I'll show you a cross section. See that right there? That is not going to be a very good steak if you have that. So I would just save this for trimmings, beef stew, stir fry, but set that aside. And this side's not too bad. I'd still cut that into a steak. Square the other side up. Oh, I took my cutting glove off. Same with this end one, I'd go a little thicker on that one. Square that up. Steal my knife real quick. Should be good. Square the other end. Okay. Cut these ones a little bit thinner. Nice. Beautiful looking steaks. All right, now let's go ahead and wrap these guys up in bacon. And you're going to want some toothpicks. I would get the rounded toothpicks, not the squared. Although you might be able to get away with squared, but the rounded ones obviously have that point, so it's going to make them easier to skewer through this. So let me move these aside so you can see. You take your bacon, and sometimes it's better to leave this out at, you know, let it get a little pliable. Hopefully this will stretch around the top sirloin here. Oh, just barely. I'm gonna have to, there we go, okay, got it. Stretch it around on itself, skewer it with that toothpick, and you're good to go. The next episode, I'm going to cook some of these up on the Traeger and show you how they turn out. I'll go ahead and wrap the rest of these guys and get onto that culotte. Yeah, I highly recommend buying meat in bulk like that at a wholesale meat shop. You're probably not going to find very good prices if you go to your local, you know, your local grocery store. They're probably going to want to sell it to you for like $5, $6 a pound, or even $7 nowadays. But I prefer it this way because, I mean, look at all these meals. I'm a family of 4. I have a family of 4, and look at all the steaks we have here in this culotte. That'll probably last us the majority of a week. and for $50. So that goes a long way. This one I might have trouble with. Yeah. I think what I'll do, rip a piece of bacon in half, kind of make a little patch out of it. Skewer it there, skewer it here. There we go, perfect. I forgot you can do that. My old job, they wanted to make them as close to about 3 to 4 ounces as possible, so adding any extra weight was kind of a no-no. But I'm not working in a grocery store, so I can do what I want. Yeah, the last video I did with this butcher block table, it's a different tabletop if you've seen my past videos, because I used some wood that was not fully seasoned. So when I went to go, after I glued it up, the wood started splitting apart and kind of warping. So I had to take that tabletop off and replace it with this one, which is actually made out of cottonwood. Never heard of anybody using cottonwood on any furniture or anything. So when I went to go call my local lumber store, they said, well, we've got some cottonwood for hardwood. They had what I needed, but at the time I couldn't afford it. So I opted for this, what was it, like an 8-foot slab for about $200, about 1.5 inches thick, and works out perfect. Plus, I was shooting some of my other videos in my garage. My garage floor wasn't very even, so the table would rock back and forth, and guys were giving me crap on YouTube for it, but I've got it in my kitchen now, working out a lot better. Alright guys, got the last one wrapped up. Alright, good to go on those. Now for the culotte. On your culotte steak, or roast, however you want to cook it, I'm probably going to cook it as a roast, really similar to cooking a tri-tip. So you're just going to want to finish peeling that fat off with these toothpicks so they don't go flying. Finish peeling this fat off here. Peel that fat off the back. And the fat just kind of runs along the front of this, so kind of go lightly around the front there until you can see where that fat ends. Just come around, cut that fat off. Then you want to, there's a lot of silver skin and all this nasty stuff there. I'm going to come in and just peel that off. Just barely get under that, you don't want to wedge it too much. Okay, got that good to go. Cut that little piece off. And for this, like I mentioned before, I'd leave about 1/4 to maybe a 1/8 of an inch of fat on there. That needs a little bit of trimming here. You don't want to take all the fat off because it takes all the flavor away, but you don't want to leave a huge hunk of fat on there either. Okay, getting closer. You know what I think that'll do there? Perfect. Get that off. Alright. Just fat off the knife here. Alright guys, and there you have it, culotte steak. So on this roast or steak, the grain is running this way. So when you go to cut these, you want to cut that against the grain, cutting on this flat part right here. You can clearly see where the grain's running. So that's how you want to cook it, or that's how you want to cut it after you're done cooking it. And sort of reminds me of a tri-tip. Actually, some of the old school meat cutters would try to get away with selling this as a tri-tip back in the day when a culotte steak wasn't very well known. They would try to sell that as a tri-tip. But in my next video, guys, I'm going to show you how to cook some of this stuff up. So definitely don't miss that. Any excess decent meat that you have left over, you can cut that up into stew meat or stir fry. And if you're going to be doing this as a job, you definitely want to throw the least amount of meat in your trim bucket as you can. Got my little pile of fat here. You can render that down or just toss it. And that's it, guys. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm. And please share my video if you're in any groups on Facebook. Any group that you think might benefit from this content, please share it. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.